Thanks for your company. We are coming to you live from digital address GA 0992539 in Kokomlemli, Accra, live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Now, Ningo Pram MP Sam George is confident the opposition NDC will wrestle power from the NPP in 2020. Mr. George, who saw of competition to emerge as his party's parliamentary candidate, says the NDC remains united and now focus on the task ahead. Joe News' Joseph Akablay monitored the primaries at the Ningo Pram constituency and has put together some sights and sounds you may have missed.
How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm very well.
In terms of the process so far, how has it been?
It's been peaceful. It's been, there's no problem with the process as at now.
And in terms of your interactions with the delegates, a short while ago, they voted massively for you as the constituency chairman. You are now contesting as MP. The same delegates, even though this time around you have a different opponent. Confident of victory?
Very confident of victory. In the constituency congress or conference that elected me as the chairman, I beat his person with close to 200 votes. And all those 200 people are still alive and they voted today. So you see the result at the end of the day.
If the gentleman who is contesting, he's my cousin, okay? If he thinks in his wildest dreams that I'm going to get a maximum of 200 votes today and he will back the rest, in a little over 5 hours, the ballot boxes will be open and counted and we will see the results.
Before I let you go, one of my colleagues, when I took a photograph of you, she said that you, MFR Power, she actually said that you have interesting outfits always for elections. This time around, Jata, what is it you wearing? Tell us about your outfit.
Well, elections are, like I said, a science and an art. There's a lot of things that go into elections, into the psyche of delegates and all of that. We can have a discussion about that some other day. But yeah, I got you talking. I wanted that. I got it.
Thank you very much. So you were the MP for Ningo Pram, Samuel Nate George there.
It's a normal thing. It's normal. I'm a human being and I support the one I want to support.
I extend a hand of fellowship, and you've seen me exhibit it here, to my brother Michael. Together, the focus is to increase the margin of victory between myself and whoever the NPP will elect next month to 20,000 votes, a margin of 20,000 votes. The vision is to kick out the incompetent Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government and bring John Dramani Mahama to the Flagstaff House on the 7th of January 2021. That's all that matters to me, and that's my next focus.
First of all, let me thank the Almighty God for a successful elections. Let me take this opportunity to also thank my family, my wife, my children, my friends, and the delegates. I would also congratulate Honorable Sam George for winning these elections. I think I tried my best, but the delegate selected him. My next line of action will be to do everything possible to get the votes of NDC Ningo Pram Pram increased for our presidential candidate, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
Mr. George is and will be the NDC's parliamentary candidate for the 2020 election. So this is the situation here at the Ningo Pram Pram constituency. We have a winner, and that winner is Samonati George, the incumbent member of parliament.
Now, 13 incumbent members of parliament got their mandates renewed by delegates at the primaries to contest the 2020 elections on the ticket of the NDC in the Volta region. Ablajifa Gomashi, Kwame Gakpe, Professor Margaret Kwaku and Richard Sepe were the newly elected persons as parliamentary candidates for the Ketu South, Keta, Hohoi and Anlong constituencies respectively. Charles Agbeve went into the primaries unopposed in the Agotime Ziope constituency. Correspondent Fred Kwame Asari brings us a wrap of activities from the Volta region.
Indications that Host Central would be a flashpoint were confirmed as the primary there was nearly marred with a controversy with regards to some 6 new branches. 3 of the branches were said not to be properly constituted, while the rest had no EC code numbers. Calm was however restored and elections were held without the 6 branches participating. The incumbent, Benjamin Kpodo, beat 5 contenders, polling about 44.3% of the total valid votes at the end of the polls. In the Ketu South constituency, Jifa Abla Gomashi made history, being the first female NDC parliamentary candidate in the opposition party's stronghold nationwide. She had 585 votes to clinch victory, beating her closest contender, Foga Nukunu, with 30 votes. Madame Gomashi aims to build human capacity of constituents when she wins the 2020 parliamentary election.
I believe in human capacity, building the human capacity. There's a lot in Ketu South that I find wanting. I think that our children and our youth need more role models. The constituency needs more synergy, and that's what I'm going to do. There are many other things that I proposed in my manifesto, and my policies, and I'm sure that there'll be opportunity for me to bridge what the other aspirants had with mine and see how we can together make Ketu South strong. It's all about NDC and Ketu South, and I'm going to work very hard for the NDC.
Incumbent MP for South Dai, Roxanne Dafiamekpo, beat off competition from Frank Kofi Day to win the NDC's spot in the 2020 parliamentary elections. He is sure to continue to evenly spread development projects across the constituency.
It means a reposition of the virtues that the delegates, the branch executives of party and the values that they have in me, they have reposed that remain again to continue to work assiduously in parliament, to articulate the interests of the party, of the constituents on the floor of the house, and to eventually topple the NPP gap. If you look at the quantum of the funds that come in as the MP share of the common fund, so small that you can really not do much with the monies that come in yearly to roll out some of these things. But like they say, it's a cake. You have to share it bit by bit for everybody to have their share.
De La Soa was retained to contest for a 3rd term in Parliament to continue representing Pando constituents. She had 256 votes in the primaries, which had the likes of Kilian Donko, Sebastian Day and Fonu Kofi Patakpa. Mr. Donko, who resigned his chairmanship position to contest the primaries, had this to say after declaration of results.
I don't want anybody to say because his candidate didn't win, so I'm not going to support the party again. I want everybody to come on board. We are all going to do the house-to-house campaign so that in 2020 we'll capture power from MPP.
Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Emmanuel Bejra, James Aveji, Kwame Agboja, Angela Taylor, De La Soa, Kobe Woyome, and 3 other incumbents triumphed over their contenders in Saturday's primaries. Fred Kwame Asari's report for Joy News.
Now, winner of the bid to contest on the NDC's ticket for the Medina constituency, Francis Xavier Susu, says the attributes of being an all-round person gives him the confidence he would win over the governing MPP's candidate in the constituency. He spoke to me earlier on News Desk.
under my leadership and my candidature, we will be able to win back that seat for the NDC, because I believe that I still have a message that every citizen of Medina or every Ghanaian living in Medina would want, would accept and will relate to. Most of the work I have done in Medina began in Zongo, and my acceptance comes more from Zongo. When we did our pre-election polls by ourselves, I had about 72% of the vote in the Medina Zongo, and I will not surprised. I will not be surprised that a lot of them turned out to vote for me. And way back in 2015, I had lots of votes from that area too, because I have Center for Poverty Alleviation beginning in Zongo Junction. I had Zongo Development Platform, which was a project I was using to reach out to a lot of Zongo youth and all that. And going into the main election, a person that cuts across. I'm a Neve by birth, but married to an Akan, and I was raised by a Gan. Shima na Zama Zongo, Kagana Najia was also say. So somebody who cuts across all the political divide. Ke Athena Africa campaign, Game Amelaka Susue Kewoyo, Namelaka Gamashikon Gamano, ni Game Kagbe Mofemo Meji Bona. That would definitely fail. And besides, when you look at the 2010 population census, the evidence is out there. I mean, it's not supported by statistics. About 79% are Christians there, and 19.5% are Muslims. But these are not matters that really are important when it comes to looking for the ideal person. It has to do with competence. I believe that when you look at my professional pedigree, what I've done with my life, rising as somebody with a disadvantaged background, becoming a street kid, adopted into an orphanage, becoming a lawyer, not only a lawyer, but in all my professional life, standing for justice, speaking for justice, fighting for justice, becoming a victim of injustice, fighting it out, and surmounting that challenge. I believe that I represent certain inspiration to the people of Mandi.
Meanwhile, winner of the Tema East contest, Abby Bright, says collaborating with her colleagues to reposition the grassroots structure will surely help secure victory for the party in that constituency. She spoke on the AM show.
I think that my #1 task is supporting the party structure, because we're an infant constituency and in not a recognized stronghold for the NDC. I say recognized because we need to do some work to prove that we actually could be the preferred choice, preferred political affiliation for Tema Central. I think that engaging the people and looking at leadership not only in the party and for the party, but to the constituency at large. How do we make the NDC strong and attractive, not only to its own members, but to people looking on the outside? How do we prove to the constituency at large that we can provide them credible and capable leadership in Parliament?
Are the two helping you out, now that you've chosen to represent the constituency? Are they supporting you? Do you know if their supporters are on board? Are they coming out for you?
Well, they'll have to be. The one thing that we share in common, first of all, is the fact that we're all comrades. Comrades meaning that we're all members of the NDC. And for people to take up this kind of challenge, to run a whole campaign to this stage, is because that they mean well for the party. And so I'm sure that we will all do the needful. We've just come out of elections, and we need to sit down and strategize and fuse all of that. But it's something that I'm very hopeful will happen.
Also successful Ayawaso West Wuogon candidate for the party, John Dumelo, has been sharing his thoughts on allegations of vote buying.
It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of one-on-one engagement. I think for me, that's what does it. Or that's what did it for me. If you recall, I was supposed to contest in the by-election, which I didn't. And so from the by-election time, which is around December, up until now, so you can say for about 9-10 months, I had been continuously working in Ayawaso West. History has taught us that, at the end of the day, you can't really define what vote buying is. Look, before the elections, I was paying school fees for delegates. Before the elections, I was giving out loans to women who were delegates to expand their business and so on and so forth. I don't think that's vote buying. I think for me, it is helping people to be able to expand their businesses or helping people and so on and so forth. I even donated plastic tests to certain branches because at the end of the day, when you go and you speak to them, they say that, oh, John, we don't have plastic tests. We rent plastic tests. And I was like, no, okay, then let me get you plastic tests. So all these things are things that I have been doing. I don't think that is both mine.
You're watching John News Today with me, Bernice Abubedu Lanza. Still to come, 65 houses, 3 motorbikes and 10 bicycles burnt by a mob in the Bakurugu, in the Karagat district of the Northern Region. We'll go there live for the latest. An anti-corruption campaigner pushes for stiffer sanctions against board of the Public Procurement Authority following suspension of its CEO for alleged engagement in acts of corruption and conflict of interest. Do stay for details.
As the presidency is so minded, they ought to also request that the board be on suspension whilst this investigation goes on.
Now, the board of directors for the Bulk Oil Storage and Transport Post are currently meeting this afternoon to investigate circumstances leading to the resignation of Managing Director George Mensah Oakley. Mr. Oakley tendered in his resignation to the President on Friday. Reasons for his action are not immediately known. However, there are reports that he may be linked to issues of contracts and bad governance at Bost. Corporate Communications Manager Malik Ejay is unable to confirm whether he was forced to resign.
No reasons were adduced for the action that he took. The board is in a meeting, and at the end of the meeting, whichever thing that they will come out with that we would be mandated to share with the media shall be accordingly shared with you.
But are you able to share further details on exactly what that means or entails?
What transpired on Friday is a resignation and not a dismissal.
Was he given the option?
The appointing authority has the option to share what exactly they have precipitated into that. The board is meeting and will do everything in their power to ensure that we get to the bottom of the issue, to know what exactly accounted for this resignation, and say it shall be shared with the public.
All right. Can you kindly confirm to us if he was given the option to resign or be sacked?
I am unable to confirm that.
We'll be following up keenly and let you know what comes out of that meeting. But co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Adam Senanu, is pushing for stiffer sanctions against the entire board of Public Procurement Authority as against a proposed suspension the coalition of CSOs gave. President Akufo-Addo last week suspended the CEO, Ejenim Boateng Ejay, over alleged sale of government contracts. The alleged acts of corruption and conflict of interest were reviewed in a Manasseh Azuri Awuni investigative piece, Contracts for Sale. The action has since intensified pressure from civil society organizations working against corruption and other well-meaning Ghanaians for the president to suspend the board as well. Speaking on the AM show this morning, Adam Senanu said the president must go beyond the proposed suspension of the board and mete out stiffer sanctions against them.
We are delighted that in this instance, the presidency hasn't just said we'll do our own investigation and clear, but has, as it were, assigned its acts and requested that the special prosecutor as well as tribes investigate the matter. We have further recommended that the board also ought to be put on suspension. And that's something we would like the president to take seriously, because we think that there may be evidence and issues that may affect them, and for which purpose the investigation could be interfered with. And so, if the presidency is so minded, they ought to also request that the board be on suspension whilst this investigation goes on. So he's taking good initial steps, but there are other things we are expecting. At a personal level, yes, that is true. However, the situation is such that one is wondering when the issue of Manasseh pointing out that this is somebody who has come for several contracts, the TPL, and your chief executive says that he has an interest, but he's reclusing himself. If it's just one or two instances, that probably would not have raised the eye. But you had 4 one particular sitting, he indicated his interest, and therefore they believe that is sufficient. We don't believe that is the case. The fact that in one instance you indicated that you have an interest and therefore it was on file, that's not covered, because in every single instance it ought to have made not just known to the board, but to the public in general, including others who were competing for these specific contracts. So there are issues on whether the board itself has acted properly, and would rather not have, even though they may not influence operational levels, we would rather send the right message that, when things like this happen, the board itself also can be held responsible. And it's sending that message, setting the right precedent, that is very crucial for us. I think there's criminality, there's a conflict of interest, there's a lot of potential fraud that has gone on here. When a company says that I am able to compete in a tender to provide specific services, the understanding is that that company has a capacity to do so and will do so exclusively. It's not going to offload the entire contract to somebody else at a fee. It means that you held yourself up with a certain capacity you have in the first place. That it shows that there's fraud, there's a criminal intent to fraud, and so there are several issues there which go far beyond the issues of morality. For the chief executive to have been consciously involved, and yet when he was being questioned by Manasseh, he first said he was not an owner, he was just a director, a minority. It turns out he's a majority. There's so many questions to be answered here.
Let's head to the northern region now. 65 houses, 3 motorbikes and 10 bicycles have been burnt by a mob in Bagurugu in the Karaga district. 3 people who sustained injuries are currently receiving treatment at the Tamale Good Chips compound in the district. My colleague Martina Bugri joins us with more. Hello, Martina. Tell us more about this. What has the police been saying? What led to this mob burning down the houses and the vehicles?
We are told that a herdsman, Tahidu, cattle destroyed one Allah Hassan's rice farm, several acres of rice farm. And not happy with the destruction, he and 3 others went to Bakurugu to attack Tahidu. And then they injured 3 people. They went back later with a mob, and then they destroyed several houses. They touched down 26 houses, burnt motorbikes, bicycles, and then injured people. And so currently, 4 people are at the Tamalago Chips compound receiving treatment. Some have had injuries on their back, their hands, and several other places. Now, the police in the northern region say they have started investigation into the issue. No one has been arrested yet, but I'm told that they will be charged if they are picked up with causing unlawful harm, cruelty to animals, and then causing harm. That's basically what they would be charged with when they are picked up.
Martina, just confirm the number of houses that have been burnt. How many exactly?
26 houses.
26 houses,
yes.
10 bicycles and 3 motorbikes.
3 motorbikes.
All right, so we'll just make that quick correction because earlier the information we had was 65 houses. But thank you so much for the clarification. But are you able to tell us what the security situation there is now, and what is the police doing about maintaining law and order there?
From what I gathered from the police, police officers were dispatched there. The place is back to normal, and everything is going on well.
And how far is this from the capital, Tamale, Bakurugu?
It is in the Gushegu district of the northern region, a bit far from the regional capital. But the police were taken from the area into the community.
Right. Thank you very much, Martina Bugri, there, joining us from the northern region, giving us some updates. But we are also joined on the phone, Isaac Nyungya. He's joining us from the Savannah region. We understand that police in the Sola Tuna Kalpa district have arrested 8 suspects, including 2 sub-chiefs, in connection with some attacks last night on the Breford Chief's Palace at Tatuma, a suburb of the Solatuna Kalpat district. He joins us with details. So, Isaac, tell us how police was able to arrest these persons and the exact role in this attack.
The Solatuna Kalpat Police Command got a wing of the earlier incidents where they went, some youth from Gonjala went to pick the relatives from the tenants who are the Breford at Tatuma, where they resisted. So, having picked the earlier signal, they tried to move around and survey to find out what was happening. No, that they were already late. The people have regrouped and went back last night. This time, not to pick the relatives, but to attack and then burn the palace of the Breford chief. But what exactly led to this attack? Why did they go there to? It is a more or less a traditional kind of thing where the landlords who are the Gonjas, their chiefs usually go to settlers. I know the Brefords are not the landlords of the Tatuma, which falls under the Gonja land. So annually they give them royalties in the form of share notes. So this year they went and they resisted. And having understood what they resisted, they decided to go with iron hands.
What's the mood in the area now, Isaac? What's the mood in the area?
They're relatively calm now. The police have taken over control over the town. And having arrested the two chiefs, the other major chiefs, paramount chiefs, are cooperating with the police to get to the bottom of the case.
All right. Thank you very much, Isaac Nyonya, is our correspondent in the Savannah region, giving us updates there. You're watching Joy News today. Coming up in business, former Finance Minister Seth Tekpe questions approach used in cleaning up the banking sector.
I back the cleanup of the banking sector, but I may not necessarily agree with every, policy element.
Darryl Kwa is standing by with details shortly. Do stay. Thank you for staying here on Joy News today. The Nungwa police is searching for a 32-year-old woman who was gone missing. Benedicta Fiahe was last seen in the early hours of Saturday, August 17, 2019, and has since not returned to her house. However, close relatives have retrieved her slippers and dress she wore laying along the street close to her home. The situation has raised suspicion of possible kidnapping. Speaking to Joy News, a neighbor and close friend of Benedicta, Benes, pleaded to the police to speed up investigations.
Napa be for 3 o'clock no. Around
3 a.m., she woke up to leave for the market as always. Around 7 a.m., her little sister went out to buy porridge and found her elder sister's basket, dress and slippers along the street.
Eni natari aso oba market wa odi be sesa no ho eni ne mpapo o sha odi ko market ni nyina agugu kwan ne so nti oyeye no frey se ni esini eni ye rashi koyen so na eyampa na so na papa bi e wo nearby eno ka
An eyewitness said he had seen a woman struggling with some few gentlemen, but when he came out of his house to see what was happening, the car drove off.
Nti nyoye oye say oye dede bie gate no enu hu say omo kan say chale let's go enu anom two car no ekoye na car omo hu ye eye say abosuka macho no ena oma so light no ena esiso nti enu na ye car ohu esi Saturday ahomachi be 3 a.m. Saturday na since then ye hu nipa no ne phone susu adum ye fra ye nya ye ni baby a owo sese a ye kasa no
na o say o akola no wedi mfie sen
wedi be 5 years akola abaiwa 5 years
na isi akola na one neti no ene nua no how are they faring o mo papa mo tisen The family is devastated. She has a 5-year-old daughter. We've reported the incident to the police, and they have commenced investigations.
Police force say, asem we eni enyan na edin. Nti yesro.
However, we are pleading with them to quickly investigate and find Benedicta.
Na omunya omu research nentem na yentimi ehunu na yehuni ayenye yehu nti yepa omucho.
That's how we end this edition of Joy News today. Many thanks for your company. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. We're also very interactive on Facebook and Twitter. We at Joy News on TV. I'm Bernice Abubedu Lansa from the entire team. We wish you a very good afternoon. Do stay with us. Coming up next is The Marketplace.